Hello, my name is Omid, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the most common preposition mistakes I see. So, what is a preposition? Well, a preposition is a small word in English that many students find very annoying. Just kidding. What a preposition is, it's a small word in English that carries some information. It's not a verb. It's not a noun. It's not an adjective. A preposition is a word like in, at, on, up, down, around, about, with, for. Okay? So there are many of them. And just those little words can actually change the meaning of a sentence entirely. Now, today we are going to look at certain verbs that have prepositions in them, and which ones students often make mistakes with. So let's get started. If you look at the first sentence, I have, "Are you going to the beach?" You might answer, "It depends." The weather. With the sentence, "It depends," after depends, many students have trouble with what preposition comes after it. Is it at? Is it on? Is it in? What do you think? It depends on the weather. Okay? It depends on the situation. It depends on my family. So, remember, when we use depends, the preposition that comes after it is the word on. Now I'm going to teach you about the 10 most common preposition mistakes I see. If you don't use these words, they might be something you might want to study later. Focus on the ones for now that you use a lot, and try to make sure you're doing those ones correctly. This is another common mistake I see. So, this is an expression in English. It starts with the preposition and then it's the other hand. I hear many students say, "in the other hand." That's not correct. In English, we have an expression, it's on the other hand. Okay, let's look at an example. Healthcare costs the government money. On the other hand, people live healthier lives if they have healthcare. So we use on the other hand when we are showing a contrasting viewpoint. So we are showing both sides of an argument. Okay, for example, I might say, "Dogs can get really dirty. On the other hand, they can make great companions." So I'm showing two different sides of an argument. Now let's look at some other common mistakes students or learners of English make with prepositions. Okay, so the next common mistake I see is with the word waiting. We use this word a lot in English. You know, people are always waiting for something. So many students get confused with what preposition to use after the word waiting. Sometimes I see students not use any prepositions. Like this, they say, "She's waiting the bus." That is incorrect. Okay, so there has to be a preposition that comes after the word waiting. What preposition do you think it is? It might be with, for, at, in, on. Any guesses? She is waiting for something. I'm waiting for the bus. I'm waiting for dinner. She's waiting for her parents to come home. Okay, so after waiting, we have this preposition, for. What's another common mistake I see? Please come to class. Time. With the word time, many students have a lot of trouble with prepositions. Is it on time or is it in time? What do you think? On time. Okay, so this means don't be late. On time means not late. Let's look at another example. I bought a new dress, $100. A lot of people make mistakes when we are talking about money and how much money we spend to get something. So, what do we use? Do we use with or do we use for? In this case, we use for. What you're saying in this sentence is, I bought a new dress and it cost $100. I bought a new book for 50 cents. I bought a new purse for $200. Okay? So when we are talking about buying things and we are talking about money, we use this preposition, for. Another common mistake I see is with the word thinking or think. Think often has a preposition after it. Can you think which one I'm thinking of? In this case, I'm thinking about joining a club. I'm thinking about a number. I'm thinking about a famous person. Okay, so what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about, and then there's usually a topic. Okay, so thinking about something. So now let's look at a couple other common mistakes learners make when it comes to prepositions. Okay, so English can be a very confusing language. You're going to see what I mean by this in a moment. Here is my example with the word night and the morning. When we are talking about time, when we are talking about night, morning, afternoon, evening, let's look at the prepositions we use. I watch TV, night. When it's some sort of preposition here, what preposition do you think it is? If you said at, you're correct. I watch TV at night. I like to walk at night. I go out at night. But this is where it gets confusing. I work the morning. What preposition goes here? Can we say I work at the morning? No, we can't. A different preposition goes in morning, afternoon, and evening. That preposition is in. I work in the morning. I work in the afternoon. And I work in the evening. So the one that is special or different is night. Morning, afternoon, and evening all use the preposition in, whereas night uses at. Okay? Another common mistake that people make is with this word, married. So, when we are talking about people who are married, there is a preposition we need to use. Let's look at our example. Justin is married Sophie. Do you think it's with Sophie or to Sophie? Justin is married to Sophie, okay? So married to someone. John is married to a very brave woman. So there are some examples we use to. My sister is married to a Turkish man. Let's look at another example or another place where learners often make mistakes. That is with the day of the week. Friday, I went to a restaurant. Should this be at Friday, in Friday, or on Friday? If you said on Friday, you're correct. On Friday, I went to a restaurant. So when we are talking about days of the week, we use on. On Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday. What about with the months? I have here June, I went swimming. Can I say on June? No, I say in June. In June, I went swimming. Now, if you're looking at these two things and you're thinking, why? This is so tough. This is so difficult. It's okay. Remember my piece of advice. Think about the words you use the most and focus on those first. So I would say dates like Friday, month. We use a lot when we talk. So really focus on memorizing that you use on with days of the week and in with the month. So let's look at my final example of a common mistake people make with prepositions. That is when we are talking about cities or countries. If I say something like, I'm going Toronto, there needs to be a preposition after go. What preposition should I use? I should use the preposition I'm going to Toronto. Okay? So after go, we have the preposition to. And it's not just cities or countries. We can also use this with other places as well. I'm going to work. I'm going to the library. I'm going to the shopping mall. Now, there's another exception, and that's with the word home. I'm going. Do we say I'm going to home? No. With home, we don't need a preposition after go. We can just say I'm going home. So with all these other things I've mentioned, like city, country, I'm going to France, we need the word to after go. Or if we have the past tense, for example, I went Italy. We need this word to. But with home, it's different. Okay? So now let's look at another final example of when we are talking about places and prepositions. If we are talking about being in a place, like a city or a country, for example, I have here the verb live. What preposition comes after this? I live in Toronto. So I'm going to Toronto. I live in Toronto. Or if I don't even want to use the verb live, I can just say I am in Italy. My sister is in Italy. My brother is in Japan. So we can use in with countries or cities when we are talking about living there or being there. But when we are talking about go, we use to. So these are some of the most common preposition mistakes learners make. You can subscribe to my channel. I have many other videos on English language tips. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.